If you have a claim open at the Disability Determination Service and you've been waiting for months to get a determination, you're not alone. Trust me. In this video, I'm going to deal with the one major reason why the DDS is taking so long to work on your claim to get it to a decision. If you're ready for this, let's get it started. It used to be back in the day when I was working on cases where I would be asked a lot of times, how long does it usually take for the DDS to finish a claim? And I would give them my patented answer, which in my opinion was the most accurate answer out there, an average of 3 to 4 months, which is about 90 to 120 days. But those days are over, unfortunately. But let me share with you some of the traditional reasons why a claim would take so long to be developed and finished at the DDS. The first reason is some cases are randomly sampled to be reviewed at the Disability Quality Branch. Now, this is an office whose responsibility is to review the DDS decisions and to decide whether the case was worked on properly. And they have the ability to send the case back to make sure that the DDS fixes what is broken. Another reason why the case takes so long is because doctors and hospitals take forever sometimes to send back medical records. Sometimes the examiner have to go through follow-up after follow-up by mail, by phone, or working through the claimant to get the doctor or the hospital to send in those long-awaited records. Another reason why the case takes so long is because you have a lazy, yeah, I said it, lazy, overwhelmed, or disorganized examiner. Now, there are a lot of great examiners, I know because I trained a lot of them. And there are some that simply are in it for the paycheck but don't want to do the work. They do this whole smoke and mirrors thing where it seems like they're working, but they're really not. They got stuff on the desk or there's stuff in their queue, but there's no movement. So those people are still there at the DDSs. Another reason why it's held up so long is because there could be a technical issue with the case itself on how it is in the computer system that's keeping it from being able to get closed out of the system. One that's never really mentioned is the case could be assigned to a trainee, and a trainee needs a little bit more time to work on the case because it's just trying to learn the ropes and learn how to work on a case properly. And they have a training assistant or a mentor there to help them, so it may take a little bit of time for them to finish. Here's the one I talk about a lot these days. There's just not enough DDS offices. Some states have more than others, and that can hold things up significantly. Let me give you an example. Texas, as big as it is, only has one DDS office. Shameful. Yeah, I said it, shameful. California, by comparison, has 11 offices. And that doesn't even count the regional office that actually provides support for the entire region, including California. Yeah, everything's bigger in Texas. You want to know what else is bigger? That case backlog at the DDS. But as of right now, there is one major reason why cases are taking so long to get processed, including your case. That reason is SSA is experiencing a nationwide staffing shortage. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Federal News Network, but the Federal News Network is an online publication covering breaking news and other topics affecting federal employees and our communities. An article last month on their website states that staffing at the Social Security Administration is the lowest it has been in 25 years. Also, the current federal budget is almost called a continuing resolution, or a CR. A CR is kind of like a temporary extension of the previous budget. And if you know anything about the federal government, their fiscal year ends on September 30th and starts on October 1st. So the last budget ended on September 30th, and they passed a temporary extension to continue the funding that was going on before September 30th. So Social Security is on a temporary extension, as well as all the other federal government agencies. And that continuing resolution is set to expire on November 17th, which is about less than 2 weeks from now. I put a link in the description to that article so you can read it for yourself. And I recommend you do, because there are some other things that the article discusses that you really need to know about. Now, what does this mean for you, the person who was either wanted to apply for SSDI or you have a claim already pending at the DDS? Well, if a new budget is approved and passed on or before November 17th, that means that Social Security will have enough funding to hire more workers, which actually would mean that your case and other people's cases get processed timelier, more efficiently, and also more thoroughly. Now, if Congress doesn't pass a budget by November 17th, there's two options. Either they do another CR to extend it some more, or the federal government will be strapped for cash, workers will be put on furlough, and those workers who are essential workers will work without pay. And that includes some people working on your SSDI claim. To make matters worse, Social Security has put a freeze on hiring and overtime for their current workers. So what that means is, even though Social Security has hired about 7,800 workers in 2023 alone, they're not going to be able to hire anybody else until the budget gets passed. Either way, the next few days can be pretty tense and concerning, not just for you, the person who wants to apply for SSDI, but the people who are working on the other side, on the federal government side. I know this because I went through the same situation back in 2013, I believe, and I was working at the regional office in Richmond, California, and we were furloughed. And since we were essential workers, we had to keep going to work without pay. Thankfully, your boy was covered. We got our pay back, but it's just a stressful time for a lot of federal workers. So what can you do in the meantime? I'm so glad you asked that question. Mark your calendar for November 22nd, because I'm going to post a video update on this very situation about the budget, continuing resolution, and how it's going to affect your SSDI claim. In that video, I also talk about some tips on what you can do to prepare yourself for your application and your claim, budget or no budget. So that's it for this video. Once again, mark your calendar, hit the notification bell, have some kind of reminder for the video that I'm going to post on November 22nd. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this video if you're trying to apply for SSDI. Now, I got more videos like you know I do. Don't leave me hanging, because I'm going to see you on the other side.